Welcome back to SwitchCorner. Today we're going to be taking a look at Olija on the Nintendo Switch, the latest release published by Devolver Digital. That involvement alone just gives me high hopes, but can it match the quality of the rest of their back catalogue, and is it going to be worth an add to your library? Well, hit subscribe if you love the Switch, as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and let's get started. So Olija, it tells the tale of Faraday, a man shipwrecked and trapped in the mysterious country of Terraphage. By mysterious, I basically mean almost otherworldly, and 99% of the population here it wants you dead. Now, opening the game, you find a legendary and mystical harpoon. Now, you are setting out not only to, of course, escape, but also rescue the crewmates that were shipwrecked along with you. The name then, Olija, it refers to a lady you meet along this journey, but I'll leave it there to avoid any spoilers. Inspired though by sailors, legends, and Asian fantasy, really enjoyed the story, but it wasn't what I expected. The action, it might be, fast paced, but the story is often kind of slowly revealed and somber, frequently honestly leaving me with more questions than answers. That said though, I loved it. It reminded me of an art house movie, and it all felt very human and personal. So gameplay, and while the story might be slow at points, the action for sure is not. Legendary harpoon in hand, you are a master warrior, and before you know it, you will be sipping all over the place, just crushing anyone that steps in your way. What they captured for me here is something incredibly unique in the harpoon mechanics that's still attached to a control system that is very, very simple and intuitive to use. There's a minor learning curve, I will say that much, sure, but it's just more proof that Devolver, they always find something new and interesting to share with us. So controls wise, your core skill set is simple jump, melee attack, but quickly you will gain access to a small arsenal of weapons. Think a couple of swords, a crossbow, and of course, that starting harpoon. It's not the most diverse weapon set, but think here a quick weapon, something more powerful, and then a ranged attack. The harpoon, that's really kind of what you're going to be sticking to. It's really everything you will ever need. To use this harpoon though, it's simple enough. While you do move with the left stick, this also aims your throwing direction. So you aim, you tap A, and away the harpoon goes. If this hits something it can stick to or an enemy, you move towards it, you press A again, and you will just instantly dash across. If you don't want to go towards it, simply tapping A without any movement, it will make it fly back to your location like you've just inherited force powers. It's simple, but it makes you feel like an absolute badass. This isn't just a weapon though, but soon you'll be using it to, create makeshift platforms to stand on, even occasionally solving a simplistic puzzle. The game, it gives you a lot of freedom when it comes to its levels. This is definitely not a linear experience. Instead, you will start in a port of sorts, pretty much alone, as you rescue crewmates. So not only will this location improve, but the population will of course increase. From here though, you'll jump in a boat and you've got one aim. You've got to find 3 blue keys to progress to the final location. Now how you find these keys is completely up to you. You'll get a map, it's got a bunch of islands you can visit, and where you go first is completely down to you. More of that map will slowly reveal itself though as you find pieces to it. The levels, like a lot of this one, not what I expected. You'll arrive at an island, and that initial trek for sure very linear, standard 2D kind of platforming. But once you enter the cave or ruin or whatever it may be, it quickly shows hints of influence from the Metroidvanias of the world in their design, with branching pathways, multiple levels, and even quite a bit of verticality. Explore these though, find the key or multiples in some cases, and head back to base. You're one step closer now to escaping. It's a simplistic loop that never did get boring, and this for me was down to a few different factors, but the intermittent moments of story, the voiceovers that accompany this, and then the boss moments. Bosses, they come in all shapes and sizes, from warriors of your own stature to huge and even mythical like beasts. To say too much would be spoilers for sure, but there's some really interesting combat moments in these. Rounding out gameplay then, at your base as you progress you will get access to multiple areas, a food station that fixes up your health as there is no like regenerating health here, just the occasional green pickup. There's a store then which permanently boosts your health bar. There's a sea merchant that will go out looking for loot for you at a cost, of course. You actually use gems that you find around each level. And then finally there's a hat shop, and these hats are customization for Faraday. These different hats not only add some humour to what is quite a serious tale for the most part, but also add abilities from electrocuting your harpoon to stealing vitality, the bar you see under health, which is, it's for attacks but you rarely have to worry about it honestly, to what was my favourite kind of hat, a trail of spears was flying behind me after every harpoon dash. There is 7 hats in total, they are well worth exploring and you do unlock them with different combinations of loot you'll find around this world. So Issues, and I have a few minor ones to discuss. The control of the harpoon with the left stick for aiming, for me, I think it might have been wise to maybe use the right stick for aiming, kind of like a twin stick shooter, maybe that right trigger for fire. Honestly, when you're trying to move and aim at the same time, you could kind of end up where you didn't want to be. Sometimes you just want to stand still as well. Then the difficulty, it was a lot easier than I expected. The game has no additional difficulty options and there was no New Game Plus, which was definitely a little disappointing. I was hoping for more reason to go back. Finally, the game lacks any sort of tracking after completion, meaning how many hats did I unlock, how many crewmates did I save and miss, you know. It tells you in game, but once you hit that game over screen, that, you know, the end credits, that information is gone, and I wish I could now look back at that and see some sort of completion percentage, you know, what do I need to go back on now and improve upon. All that said though, I had a great time here. I was impressed how quickly I was able to pick it up and play it, and while the levels, they may be nothing groundbreaking, it's everything else around them that's just so impressive. So graphically, I mean, look, you're looking at it, this won't be for everyone. It's a game built upon the old school 8-bit look, but the amount of detail the team has got in here is just seriously impressive. Each character feels unique, the locations have some serious depth to the image, especially a few waterfall moments, and each just captures a different tone. I was especially impressed with some effects around the time of day and that natural light. What impressed me the most though, it's got to be the animation. Faraday struts around like the legend that he is, and all the characters, they move near constantly, whether it's in combat, dashing, or just simply moving around. These animations have captured more personality than some games can do with the most modern of graphical styles. No complaints honestly from me visually. I think with what they're working with, this is seriously impressive and they have absolutely delivered. Audio finally, and it's solid. The music, it goes everywhere from like lo-fi to traditional Japanese, and it impressed again. I would happily listen to this out of the game world. It sounds seriously well produced, and it wouldn't be hard to picture this, you know, in a movie or maybe on a TV show. Sound effects then, they are solid too, but I will say at points I did find they could be a little bit overwhelming. I'm all about a busy sound field, you probably all know that, but here when all the weapons were going off, the dash effects playing as well, your enemies' weapons are going off as well, it got a little bit overwhelming as I was kind of trying to figure out what the sound was attached to. It kind of almost felt like some things were out of time at points. Topping things off then, some minor mysterious like voiceover work that's been heavily manipulated, think like reverb, distortion. It absolutely captures the tone of this story and world. Overall, I was really impressed with Olija. It's another example of Devolver finding and bringing to us something that's just a little bit different. At its core, it is an action-packed 2D, almost hack and slash platformer, but it's all the pieces coming together that make it now so unique. The story that had me locked in from beginning to end, the slow moments of walking as it pushed this tale forward, then the action, you know, 1 minute I'm hearing this story and walking through like a nice peaceful moment, the next I'm flying through the air, spear in hand, or facing off against some huge beast. Maybe I'd been like navigating an endless maze, or at least it felt that way a few minutes later. Every bit of it just felt fine-tuned and balanced. Yes, it has a few issues as I've broken down, and it's definitely short too. You're looking at around the 4 to 5 hour mark, but that's so often the case with Devolver pieces. To me, they specialise in games that just kind of punch you in the face and then they leave you. They are adrenaline shots that you don't want to be over, but you know there's a good chance you'll be talking about them for a while, and this one, that's very much the case. It can stand proudly alongside all the other great games in their library. I will definitely be going back, no question. I just, as I said, wish it gave me now more endgame content and a little bit more insight into what I achieved on that last run. Either way though, a great 8 out of 10 from me, and for sure a stronger recommendation. With that then, a shout out to the patrons of the channel who are just going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. Helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. If you do want to check that out for yourself, I have linked it in the video description down below. Then hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.